Hello, my peeps. I'm Andy. Of course, you guys, most of you probably already know that. Um, I'm speaking to you from the grave because I'm tired, really tired. But I'm also pretty bored, and I've been wanting to record another YouTube video for a while now. So here I am, and I had no ideas whatsoever, so I just decided to read a fan fiction I wrote for the Sender Sides. The first one I actually wrote. And I know that this isn't too long ago, like it's not 1D fan fiction level, because I wrote 1D fan fiction in like 2013 and it was really bad, and when I mean objectively bad. I was not a good writer back then. So I did, like, this is somewhat a lot better, but I also have a lot better stories now because I wrote this like last year, the beginning of last year, probably something like that. But I hope you guys enjoy this thing. Probably some of you have already read this fic, and a lot of people seem to like it at the time. So I'll just jump into it. So let's start. Way too long ago, a pact was made. This is all dramatic scenery, by the way. Between ancient entities, also known as the Zodiac. This pact was made to protect the dead souls and their paths to the afterlife. Back then, there wasn't much that threatened the balance. It was more like a couple of souls getting lost and needing guidance. But the evil would eventually come, and the Zodiac needed to be around for it. To do so, they immortalized their own souls. I can't fucking speak. Thus, they could live on for generations and continue their jobs. And the evil came somewhere during 2016, long after the bodies of the first Zodiac had turned to dust. Their souls were transferred to unborn babies, fetuses. I had this idea, like, way too long ago. Like, it was before 2016, actually. It was probably 2014, 15, something like that. And it was for an original story, actually. And I never got as far with the original story as I did with this fic, which I still haven't finished. And I don't know when I ever will. I hope to do so at some point in my life. Probably before the Sender Side series actually ends. It's a goal, but I haven't really touched on this fic for a while. So, continuing on. Virgil woke up, panting, the back of his feet kicking the bed. His purple bangs clouded his field of vision, but the soft blankets in his hands were an indication he was in a bed in his room. The image he had seen in his dream, they seemed too real to simply be a part of a nightmare. There was nothing particularly scary about them, but the immediacy of everything, it made Virgil want to puke. So, nice scenery there. Checking the clock on the nightstand, Virgil felt his eyes widen as he saw the green mark showing it was 3:17 a.m. He'd have to be up for school in 5 hours, and that didn't give him nearly enough time to rest, especially when he always took so long to fall asleep. This bitch. He sighed before getting off the bed and walking down the stairs to the kitchen. Getting some water and stretching his legs a little could be helpful. It was his reasoning anyway. Arriving at the living room, he turned left to the kitchen behind the counter. He got a cup from the drawer and poured water from the tab. And just as he was about to jug it all down in one swift movement, he heard a voice. I'm not good with suspense. I think. I remember that I got a few tips from my friend who's into horror and she was like, make the sounds, like describe the sounds, because shit, when we hear sounds, it's kind of like we get alert, and it's like everything's so jumping at your face, or they could be jumping at your face. Anyway, continuing. It was a faint but barely audible at first. When he couldn't make out what it said, Virgil shrugged and drank all his water. But before he could put the glass down in the sink, the voice came back. A lot louder this time. Virgil. I don't know how to make a voice. I'm sorry, I don't know how to make a voice. Virgil, it called. Desperate and afraid, the voice mirrored part of how Virgil had been feeling. Gripping the glass tighter, Virgil had to stop himself from adding any more pressure or else he'd break it. Instead, he left it on the sink with a clink sound as it hit the metal and ran up the stairs again. He was halfway through them when... Virgil! He stopped dead on the spot. The floorboard under him cracked under his unmoving weight. He froze except for his head, which he turned to face the wall nearest to him that held a picture of his closest friends. Patton, Logan, and Virgil smiled back at him from the frame. Patton's smile was wide and full of teeth to show, and Logan's was a half smirk, while Roman's had the cockiest of them all. That picture was good to calm him back down, and he continued walking to his room. But then the voice resurfaced, and it kept yelling, as if the volume could somehow make a giant hand and grab Virgil to keep him from leaving. It was that insistent on it. The voice wanted Virgil, and it seemed like he was going to get him however way he could. Wow, Eddie, wow! I don't know why, but it's so cringy, like me reading my stuff, which is why I never read my stuff. So yeah. Running the final steps, Virgil shut the door and locked it in a hurry as the voice continued. He slid back his back against the door as if the pressure he made alone could keep anything at bay. When he wakes up again for school, he doesn't remember how long he spent like that, but he does remember how terrified he was of going back to sleep, of how he had stared at the ceiling after the voice had ceased, only for it to come back. Yet he never did. 5 hours later, Virgil had bag under his eyes that almost looked like purple pigmented eyeshadow. Normally he put black eyeshadow every day just because it was his aesthetic with the capital A. But now it hardly seemed necessary. His dad knocked on his door early, prompting him to get up and leave for school. After getting dressed with a black t-shirt, gray hoodie, and dark blue pair of Converse, Virgil went rapidly into the kitchen to grab a piece of toast, and went out the door with it in his mouth and a quick "see you later, Dad" to the man. I really went anime with the scene, didn't I? Just anime with the toast in the mouth and like, "see you later." I watch a lot of anime, yeah. Okay, continuing. As he made his way to the bus stop with the toast, someone came from behind him. They wrapped their arms around Virgil, and that was a big indicator of who it was for him. Turning around, Virgil saw Patton with cat gloves on his hands that gave him the smallest of beams. "Hey, Pat," he greeted, eating the bread as they continued walking. His friend usually used mostly pastel colors from his feet up, a blue light t-shirt, khaki jeans, and open brown shoes. It contrasted with Virgil on a high level. Virgil found it to be true that opposites attracted each other, since Patton was his best friend. "Virgil!" The boy snuggled his Virgil. Oh wow, that was some sentence I wrote there. The boy snuggled Virgil's arms for a second. "Today we have a test, don't we?" he questioned as they reached the destination. Patton didn't reply right away. Instead, he leaned closer to Virgil, brown eyes squinting as he was examining the boy's face. His glasses fell down to the tip of his nose. I wrote notice. I need to reread things before I post it. My bad. He didn't bother fixing it. Why didn't you sleep? Wallahi said instead. And there was the dreaded question. Virgil couldn't say, hey, yeah, so yesterday I heard these voices, even though there was no one in the house awake except for me, and they creeped me out a little bit, so I didn't sleep because of that. To a certain, Patton's first question would be if it hadn't just been a nightmare. The boy wouldn't rule out Virgil as crazy or psychotic or anything of the sort, and Virgil knew that. Regardless, he still felt uneasy about telling the truth when it sounded so unlikely. I have insomnia. I have insomnia, Pat. He replied with something that was actually true, pulling his backpack on his back. You forgot already? No, but you never had bags like these before, Patton insisted with furrowed eyebrows. I'm just worried. Looking at his friend fondly, Virgil replied, I know you are, buddy. Thanks, but I'm alright. It seemed to pain the boy to do so, but as he pouted, he answered, if you say so. So, about the test, Virgil changed the subject. Did you study? That is just me, asking, when people ask me if I studied for a test. I genuinely don't, and I should, but alright. I had to ask Lo for some help, but I think I got everything. Patton smiled to himself proudly while the bus arrived and parked, opening the door for them to get inside. The boys went straight to the back seat, where most of the students avoided because of the bumps in the road that made the back of the bus jump a little. But Patton had fun with it, and whenever he went, Virgil would go as well, no matter how mentally exhausting that managed to get. The bus ride consisted of Patton telling him about the latest animated movie he saw. This time it was a Japanese anime Virgil had never heard of, because he only knew some Ghibli movies and Koi no Katachi. But he made a mental note to try and watch Patton's when he had the time. It actually sounded interesting. By the way, if you guys have never seen Koi no Katachi, you should, because it's really fucking great. And it made me cry like crazy. It really made me cry like crazy. It's a really good movie, and the story is beautiful, and animation is beautiful, and it's just everything is beautiful. So yeah, it also has a manga, and I started reading that. I have it on my bookshelf. But yeah, the manga kind of goes more. It has a longer story, but the movie is still pretty good. Please go watch it. So continuing, after finally getting to the school grounds, Virgil was reminded that they hadn't been there for the last 2 weeks. Spring vacation was over, and the terror of exams and social pressure would restart. Damn if that ain't me! I self-project onto Virgil a lot with my fanfics. It's unreal how much I project onto him. Sorry. Verge? Patton tugged at his coat, making him get back to reality. Yeah, let's go. He almost sped walked to class as he had anything to get away from. You guys got lucky. Logan greeted them from one of the seats at the front, never leaving his eyes from the book he was reading. This one wore a dark blue t-shirt, and black jeans with red Converse. Our teacher had an emergency, having to leave for the day. A substitute will be here in a moment. Why am I sounding like a robot with Logan's voice? I don't know. I told you I can do voices. Alright, Virgil replied nonchalantly. I don't know how to pronounce this word. I really don't. Nonchalantly? Yeah. Throwing his backpack on the floor behind Logan's chair, sitting on his own. Patton took a seat next to Virgil and leaned in to pick at Logan's book. It was their history material, the book, the history book. I don't know why I just didn't write book. There are a lot of mistakes here. Really. A lot. Lo, are you revising the whole unit? He questioned. That's 5 chapters! Yes, Logan agreed. I'm pretty sure you were there when the teacher told us which chapters to look at. Virgil remarked. I was, but I was also studying biology at that point. Logan pushed his glasses into place. I actually needed to do that. So. One of my strongest subjects is history. I needed to diverge my focus to biology instead. Well, if you say so. Virgil shrugged just as Roman appeared at the door. He was panting and trying to catch his breath. Keyword, trying. His eyes looked eerily similar to Virgil's as well, tired and mostly devoid of energy. And whatever happened to you? Virgil covered up his snickering as the boy sat in front of Patton. Yet his heart might have suffered a little from seeing the boy in such state. The bus missed my stop, and I had to run 2 miles just to get here. He let out a big sigh, letting his arms dangle from his body while keeping his legs close together because he was still a gentleman with a capital G and a capital A. Aw, poor Roman. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. Patton sympathized. He didn't get run over by any car, so he's fine. Virgil scoffed, waving it off. Virgil, aren't you a ball of sunshine positivity? Roman Patton rolling his dark eyebrows. His dark brown eyes. Just pointing out something obvious, Prince Charming. He teased back. You know what? Right then, the substitute teacher arrived. She had grizzly gray hair with a young, unmarked by wrinkles face. And everything about her, right down to the outfit, light brown pencil skirt, black high heels, and white social shirt, seemed professional. The contrast was weird, but her voice was also firm and disciplined. No more talking, the test starts now. She spoke in front of all the desks. No cell phones, and definitely no cheating. I will know if you do. She started by the other side of the room, distributing the papers. Scary woman, Roman whispered to Virgil, knowing he was the only one of the boys that would agree. Terrifying, he replied with a signature smirk. Good luck, Princey. You too, Dark McGee. Dark McGee. I love coming up with nicknames for Virgil to give, for Roman to give Virgil. It's everything. And I had a list from this fic and from the scripts I write, and there was one I was particularly proud of, but I forgot what it was. So yeah, sorry. So continuing, there's a little break now. Okay. Found Flush Tonight by Ben Platt and Lin-Manuel Miranda played on Virgil's left ear, and he shared his earphones with Patton. His friend sang along, not too loudly, but Virgil's mind was elsewhere. It kept replying the events of the night, detail by detail, and this time not even music managed to help him. Note, fun fact, on the original version of this scene, which was for the original story, the music the characters were listening to was actually Ribs by Lorde, because I wrote Patton, the character of Pat that is Patton here, based on my actual friend in real life, and he loves Lorde, and I was like, okay, I'm just putting in Lorde here because he loves Lorde. Yeah, continuing on. Verge, what's wrong? Patton stopped, while Virgil continued, making the earphone dangle from Patton's side. That made him stop, as well as turn back. I'm good, Pat, he replied. Palshood, Patton said, using Logan's expression. I wouldn't call myself your best friend if I really believed that. Damn it, Patton, Virgil thought to himself. Why did you need to be so insightful? But I am, Virgil pushed. Not. Patton pushed back. Does that stop you from walking home with me? Virgil gave him a pleading look. Never! His friend went to him and linked their arms together as they continued on their path. but you know you can talk to me about anything, don't you? Patton is precious. He's just a precious bean. I do. Virgil nodded and gulped. I just need to work out some stuff first. Patton stared at him for a couple of minutes before letting his head fall on Virgil's shoulder. That's understandable. And that's the end. So that was the end. If you guys want me to do this again or continue with chapter 2 of this one, I don't know, just let me know in the comments or on my Tumblr, which you probably already know what it is because most of my viewers are from Tumblr. But anyhow, this was fun, I guess. I don't have a lot of time to record videos, mostly because of school, and I don't tend to record videos with my parents at home because I don't want them to know I'm recording videos. But yeah, maybe I can find some time to do this again, hopefully. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have a good day, good rest of the day. I don't know how late it is for any of you. So yeah, thanks for watching.